And we may soon know whether there will be a new election in North Carolina's District 9 congressional race. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Spiro. Right now, the State Board of Elections is holding its much anticipated public evidentiary hearing about alleged voter fraud. Republican Mark Harris leads Democrat Dan McCready by 905 votes, but the previous board refused to certify the results in November because of absentee ballot irregularities. Much of the focus has been on Robeson and Bladen counties. Keep in mind, District 9 also includes Union County and parts of Mecklenburg County. Right now, WBTV investigative reporter David Hodges is joining us live from Raleigh. So, David, what's come out of this hearing so far?
Well, today we finally heard from the executive director of the North Carolina State Board of Elections, and she said that in their 2.5-month investigation so far, they found evidence that will show, quote, that there was a coordinated, unlawful, and substantially resourced absentee ballot scheme that was being operated in Bladen and Robeson counties. Now, everyone was arriving here this morning. That includes Mark Harris, as well as representatives for Dan McCready, the Democratic Party, and plenty of other politicos interested in the outcome of this hearing. That was part of the preview that I mentioned that the executive director, Kim Struck, gave to the 5 board members about their investigation. She is focused intently on absentee ballots and how they're supposed to be turned in. Ballots are supposed to be voted in the presence of a witness and only turned in by the voter or a close relative. But state board investigators say McCrae Dowless, who was working for Mark Harris in this election, violated both of those statutes by having people who work for him falsify witness signatures and by having those workers collect ballots and give them to him to turn in. Just within the last hour, we actually heard from Lisa Britt, but also the executive director, who said that their evidence is very strong in this case. Listen in.
The state board, and I believe the people in North Carolina, believe that our voters must have trust in our process. They believe their vote must be counted, and they believe that elections must be fair.
My apologies, that's actually the director of the current board who was saying that they really want to get to the bottom of this to make sure that voters have a good sense and good faith in their election. As I mentioned before, Lisa Britt, who worked for McCrae Dowless during this election cycle, she was just interviewed on the witness stand, and she said, and she actually did an interview with Chief Investigative Reporter Nick Oxner back in 2018 after the election. She told him at the time that they were only paid for collecting absentee ballot request forms. She now said under oath that that was not truthful, that in fact that she was also paid for collecting absentee ballots, specifically those without signatures, and turning them into McCrae Dowless. That would potentially be a crime. There's still many more witnesses to go. There's in fact a whole room full of them, and we expect to hear from more of them today. For now, that's all we have live in Raleigh. Back to you guys in the studio.
David Hodges reporting there. WBTV is staying on top of this hearing. We will be looking to break any developments that come out of this, so stay with us for continuing coverage and more to come on WBTV News First at 4.